but this is Hecate.
Hecate is a
Hecate.
Greek goddess of sorcery, magic, witchcraft, and we're bringing her to Smite 2 because we think she's a goddess that people have been asking for a while, and she's pretty iconic.
For Hecate, we wanted to make sure that we didn't go hard with her as a witch herself. She's the goddess of witchcraft. As far as when it relates to animation, one of the key things that
The effects alone for this god are great.
we're trying to drive with her is just her etherealness, her presentation, floaty, soft, out in the ether.
Floaty.
That type of feel.
We pitched a lot of crazy UE5 tech stuff that we had to check with the engineering team. We found a good combination of what we thought was possible.
Okay, so you can see that was her one. Okay, I'm only going to talk about, is she a mage? She is a mage, yep. I'm only going to talk about, I've played her like 5 times. She might be one of my favorite mages at the moment,
Combination
no
of what we
joke.
thought.
You saw there that first clip where it looked like an Amaterasu type sequence where she was shooting beams in front of her. That is her ult. Again, I can only talk about what they're showing in this video. This is obviously her one because you see it goes on cooldown.
Possible.
It's a straight line projectile.
And then the
lands, hits.
biggest difference was really the prototyping phase. So usually what we would do is just send
So this is her 3,
that to program.
as you can tell. Her 3 just went on cooldown. I'm not sure if she casted her 2 or not.
send most of that
that's
to
just her
programming.
3.
Instead, you know, the designer started with it. The designer, like, her abilities 1, 3, 4 were
So that's her 1.
virtually
right?
entirely set up.
That's her 1. So
Her
it's a straight
abilities-
line traveling circle, right?
1, 3,
wherever it hits, it does
Or we're
damage,
virtually
and
entirely-
then does a little bit more damage and stuns them.
set up by me with no programming assistance. That was very different.
Okay, so you've seen so again, this isn't not giving away anything I'm not supposed to. That was her 2 because you've already seen her 3, which is like that astrally looking stuff. You've seen her ult, you just saw her 1, so now you're seeing her 2. So to explain her combo, right? Explaining her combo isn't really NDA because I'm just showing you the abilities and telling you what order you should use them in based on what you're seeing right now. Okay, so I just have to talk myself through this sometimes because I want to make sure I don't break any rules. So you proc your 2.
1, 3,
So
4
this is the one,
were
right?
virtually entirely set up by me.
You proc your 2. I won't talk about what it does,
No
but you can
programming
see
That was very different.
that it's that you cast it and it's something's up there, and then you can put it somewhere. So obviously, like most mages, it's a 1-2 combo. Shoot out your stun, proc your 2, shoot out your 1, put the damage on top of each other. Pretty simple.
Than what we do in Smite 1, and
That's her 3, obviously, which you've seen.
those abilities all had significant changes over
I won't
time.
say what they do, and then
because
this
of
is
the
her
ability
ult,
to prototype,
right?
test, and adjust all.
So technically, you can 1-2 combo right into your ult, right? If you think about it.
In the design team.
Hecate is the first god in Smite 2 that we are building completely inside the UE5 control rig. Basically, it takes the ability for us as
She is
animators
a
to work
mage, yeah.
directly in the editor instead of working in software.
All the character artists have been using Unreal 3 for like almost 15 years under their belt. So basically learning kind of the new tools and where they can like expand things and leverage kind of, do we do more texture maps now to give better resolution and stuff like that. So higher polygon counts, things of that nature. The biggest thing's been probably cloth simulation and learning the ins and outs.
She has simulated cloth physics on her movement. In Smite 1, we had to hand key animate all cloth to make it look as much like it was flowing in the wind and stuff like that. But Hecate actually has a big cloth veil and that actually moves and responds to the physics. And
Mage is not a concept anymore in Smite 2, correct? We just call it, because Smite 1, mental. I don't know if they've confirmed or denied that. We know magical power and physical power aren't a thing anymore. It's strength and intelligence. And we know a lot of characters can be played almost in any role and built any way. So the versatility of every god, which is something that I think has been important to change, is they're going to release gods, and I think this is a better way to produce gods, is they're going to release gods and basically the community is going to play them where they see fit, rather than like trying to create a solo lane guardian or create a support only guardian. just make a character that's fun to play, and in the community you'll figure out where it's going to be best suited, right? Trying to balance it to where it's like, oh, this person's too good in the solo, but we don't want them in solo. We want them over here. We don't want mages in solo. I understand we don't want like the mage meta in solo and blah 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 blah, and it was bad and everything. But I think once we move into Smite 2, we just go away from the idea of mages need to be mid. We don't want hunters mid. We don't want mages in solo. I think you just create characters, and you just let the community figure out where to go.
You know, the world.
Is there any classes in Smite 2? I don't know if they've said that, so
we get to see.
I mean, I know, but like if they haven't specifically said it, and I know they haven't said it, then I won't say.
Cloth simulation live in the fly. We can update something in the editor and see it while we're playing in editor, see it update immediately. The workflow paths are much quicker and smoother. The part that's kind of had us leveling to a middle ground here is we are still learning it. So we get some awesome upgrades. We're learning those on the fly. It's balancing together. So it's been a challenge, but it's been an awesome challenge.
She has two, like I'd say, are really unique gameplay features on the kit. One is that she kind of has a twist on the interact feature. Hecate has two special case interacts just for her, that in certain situations she can now interact. So her passive is actually kind of an active in this way. The other one is her ability 2. She puts down a magic orb. Every single ability that's activated from an enemy god or ally god powers it up. And then she...
Okay, so he's explained this now, so I can say it now. So you proc your 2, and then this entire circle area, any abilities cast within this area is going to charge this, so that way once you drop it, like you saw earlier when they showed it, it's going to do more damage. So you'd basically engage proc your 2 over the lane or over a team fight, and this is going to collect energy and do more damage. Then when you throw out your 1 into preferably, the biggest group of opponents possible, right? It's going to stun them, and then you drop this damage which has built up from people casting abilities on top of that stun. Even yours, I actually don't know. It just says abilities cast within the area. I think it's just enemies, but hold on, let's see if he says it.
Powers it up. Enemy god or ally god powers it up.
Enemy god or ally god, but I don't think you count.
And then she refires it to do damage based on how much fighting was going on in the area.
Another one of Hecate's abilities.
So this is really cool. So this is...
We're rendering a flow map over everything, which is this texture that takes these...
So you can see her 3 then. This is her 3, not giving anything away. You saw it earlier.
Another one of Hecate's abilities. We're rendering...
Watch the difference when it changes from her 3 astral whatever form
flow map
to out to not.
Which is this texture that...
So when you are playing here, right, and you can even just see the difference here and see the difference there, right? The thing about this is it makes, especially in team fights and especially in fighting in the jungle and stuff like that, it makes the outline of the gods that you're fighting. They don't show that. I'll just explain to you how I see it. This darker aesthetic, instead of when it goes to light, it's actually easier to see and navigate through fights for me. That doesn't give anything away. That's just my experience with what they just showed right there. No NDA.
Takes these black and white information and is distorting everything, making it look really cool.
So for me, when it's darker like this,
distorting everything, making it look really cool and otherworldly.
Maybe it's just how my eyes work.
I think the world material,
but when it's dark like that,
visual,
and it showed everything like outlined there. See how like everything's kind of like
sure that
all that stuff on the ground
takes these black and
all that stuff being on the ground makes it easier to like navigate gods
making
and whatnot.
It look really cool and otherworldly.
I think the world material.
I don't know if that's intended. Maybe it's just like I said, the way my eyes work. But when everything like got darker like that and everything, the aesthetic like changes all the ground and everything's like outlined, it's just easier.
Visuals, that is just something we wouldn't have done the same way, or couldn't have done the same way in UE3. In UE5, it just looks different, and
you see how everything's outlined. So when you're going through the jungle map and now everything has like a dark outline around it, obviously, except I don't think. When it just showed it in that arena and Anubis was there, he didn't get outlined. So think about like everything having like a purple dark outline around it, like all the ground, the aesthetic of the map, the trees and everything, and now gods don't have that. It's very easy to pick them out.
You can actually tell Like I can look at another character model and see they look normal. Then I can look at the world and the ground.
Okay, see, so they do show it, luckily. So like when you're in a fight, right, and you're in the jungle and whatnot, and everything has this purple outline except them. It's just like a bit easier to
world and the ground and the environment and see that is all distorted. We have a level of control that we couldn't have done in UE3 visually.
Doing the first new god
looks so
in
good.
Smite 2, Hecate, has been a fun and interesting challenge, and I hope that,
looks
the
so
work
good.
we've put in resonates well.
We're really excited to get it in the hands of the players, and we had a lot of fun just pushing the limits of what we can do for the characters and abilities and everything of Hecate. So we hope you enjoy her. Like I said, I know the team here really had a great time, so we hope you do as well.
Obviously, everyone on the dev team were very excited to let more players into Smite 2. The closed testing with ambassadors and streamers.
Okay, see, perfect. You see how there's a difference between, like, look at this. You see how there's a difference between this, it's leveled all the way up, and the previous ones that they showed. They show actually like the bar. Okay, so I won't speak on it directly, but you can see how darker and more aesthetic.
Ambassadors and
like, look at this. This is what, because obviously the 3 is active right now.
streamers.
Look how just like how I was speaking about it before, and again, this might just be me, but look how easy it is. Granted, gods aren't hard to spot
Streamers and
anyway.
pros.
I think this is maybe just a personal preference thing. Like, look how like
been really
everything else like is just dark, and then like
fun.
the
And with
gods that are going
employees,
to be
it's been
red
really
are just
fun.
very easily.
We-
Do you see how like I don't know if it's just because like certain notes like kind of just blends into the map. Again, this might just be a me thing. But if you just look at the difference between that, not that he's hard to see. Again, it's not that he's hard to see, but if you look at the difference between that and then this,
and with
right?
employees has been really fun.
Again, I don't know if that's intended.
we hear-
That just might be a me thing. You just saw the end of her alt right there as well, by the way.
We hear a lot of positive feedback every test, and then also a long to-do
Oh,
list.
hold on. I went
Fun.
too far.
We hear
You obviously see her alt there.
and with employees has been really fun. We hear a lot of positive feedback every test, and then also a long to-do list. We're trying to remake
You can obviously see right there. She's not. I don't know if this is like.
to-do list. We're trying to
So
remake
she obviously doesn't get CC'd, but she's not yellow.
over 10 years worth of game here. So the
But
to-do-
she's obviously not CC'd there. I just realized, do people not glow yellow when they're CCing me?
We're trying to.
We
remake
obviously you
over
can tell
10
because
years
she just
worth of
got
game
frozen,
here.
didn't get frozen,
So
right?
the to-do list is long, but we're looking for improvements and quality everywhere we can, and I think we're finding it in almost every place. We're finding something good to change, improve as we go, which all
Again, sometimes when I speak like I don't know, I actually do know, but I just, if I don't see it, I just don't say it. If I don't see it, I don't say it. Like, I might know the answer to that, even though I just, like, asked the question out loud, but it's just because I don't want to break NDA, so.
all combined together just feels really.
I guess what I can say is you'll know if somebody is CC immune or not. You'll know. I just can't say how.
good.
Yeah, because you can look at the on her alt too. Same thing, right? Same thing. But yes, that's Hecate. Hey, Liam.